My hair is being so funny. So hello weirdos. Welcome back to my channel. I got a new haircut today. I am so happy with it. It's like yeah, this is the first time I've done anything this short. And I really like it. I think it does a lot to masculinize my face. And I got the inspiration for this haircut because I was watching clips from King and Porsche, and I was like, ooh, this one actor who's in it, Jeff, I was like, oh my god, that's what I want. My hair's not quite long enough for it yet, but it will be eventually. And so I haven't watched King and Porsche yet, but I want to. It's probably a summer thing because you have to pay to see it. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. I'm just really excited about this haircut. Okay, I just am. I'm so happy with it. Okay, today what we're doing is I'm going to be reacting to the Octofinals, the results. I was supposed to participate and read in the Octofinals, but unfortunately life circumstances just didn't work out that way. My grandfather did pass away, and that was just like right at the start of February, and it was just really hard for me to really do anything. And I was like, what is one thing that I can do to take off of my plate? And so I contacted Robert, and I was like, okay, well, you can't do this. So I'd be really interested to see what did make it in to this next round. I do have an idea because I do know what group I have, and I have looked at my group, but I have waited to see like kind of like the rest of the results, so I have no idea what moved on from my round that I was supposed to watch last time. I need to change the speed because I watch everything at 2 times speed, which is not helpful for you all. And I need to put my headphones on. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, great, awesome, it's going. I also have tea, Earl Grey, in my panda mug. Exciting! I'm excited to see what won and what didn't, or what waited through.
Hey everyone, welcome to the BookTube Prize channel. My name is Robert, and today we're here for the announcement of the first round results, the Octofinals results, and the pairings for the second round, the quarterfinals, which take place in April and May.
I love Robert's bookshelves. They're so much fun. Finally! No more administration! I deal with it all the time at work! I think nonfiction's going first. Should I watch the fiction? Oh, okay. So this nonfiction group A is the group that I judged for, and had to drop out because, because my grandfather died. But also, for the first time, I was assigned books that like I couldn't actually like get access to like audiobooks. So like this one here, this by Daryl Pinkerley, didn't have an audiobook, so that would have been really difficult. Which I like had a whole plan set up, but then once my grandfather died, like I just couldn't. And it was also great that I couldn't because I know that The Heart That Works, that is about grief, and it's a no-go for grief books for me right now. And I was also reading Sandy Hook, and that was really hard to read as a teacher. Yeah. I was really looking forward to reading Song of the Cell. I actually did buy a copy. I do have a copy of Song of the Cell, and this kind of makes me sad that I couldn't actually... Well, I'll read it eventually, but, you know, if I don't get assigned it, if it doesn't move on, I might not read it in the next, like, couple months. But hopefully it does. So, I'm gonna quit gabbing, and let's see what moved on.
Nonfiction. In Group A, the 6 octofinalists were Sandy Hook, An American Tragedy and the Battle for Truth by Elizabeth Williamson. A Heart That Works by Rob Delaney. Come Back in September, A Literary Education on West 67th Street, Manhattan, by Daryl Pinkney. Life Between the Tides by Adam Nicholson.
I was excited for that one, too.
The Song of the Cell, An Explanation of Medicine and the New Human by Siddhartha Mukherjee. And Strangers to Ourselves, Unsettled Minds and the Stories That Make Us by Rachel Aviv. And the 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Aw, Life Between Tides. Aw, sad. Okay, last one. Oh. Okay.
The Song of the Cell and Strangers to Ourselves.
Okay, so this isn't surprising to me. I figured that Sandy Hook would move on, which sucks, because that means that if it survives, like, there's a possibility that I could read it in the future, which I really don't want to, if I'm honest. The Heart That Works, I think that, I know that's like a memoir and it's about grief, so that makes sense. The one about like Manhattan, New York, didn't really seem too interesting to me when I was given it, so I kind of understand why that didn't move on. But I was kind of excited about Life Between the Tides because I like science books, but science books kind of they fare okay in this prize, better than memoirs on average. But I'm really excited about Song of the Cell moving on and Strangers to Ourselves. I don't know what Strangers to Ourselves is. I think it's a memoir, maybe. I have no idea. I didn't really look into it that much. Yeah, so wow.
In Group B, the 6 octofinalists were Index, A History of the...
Okay, for Group B, I was excited about Index, History of the okay, whatever. I was excited about this one because I'm a weird nerd that likes these history things. I was excited about Sentient, and I'm kind of mad that this book has come out kind of after the advent of everything with ChatGPT, because happening now in our world, because that would be really interesting to have like a whole conversation about sentience. How do we define it in our digital age? Maybe that conversation does happen in this book, but it just has become so much more relevant today with stuff like ChatGPT. I'm glad my mom died. I'm really excited. I do own a copy of that. I don't have it within reaching distance of myself. And I do know that We Don't Know Ourselves moved on because I'm assigned that one in this round. So if I'm guessing, I'm glad my mom died did move on. Out of these 4 other ones, I'm not really sure. I kind of hope Index makes it through because I would like to have a chance to read this weird nerdy history thing. But I have no idea. I think it might be Facemaker because I don't think that the writing one will go too well. And I think Sentience is a science book. So I don't know. We'll see.
Bookish Adventure from Medieval Manuscripts to the Digital Age by Dennis Duncan. Sentient, How Animals Illuminate the Wonder of Our Human Senses by Jackie Higgins. Magnificent Rebels, The First Romantics and the Invention of Self by Andrea Wolf. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. The Facemaker, A Visionary Surgeon's Battle to Mend the Disfigured Soldiers of World War I by Lindsay Fitzharris. And We Don't Know Ourselves, A Personal History of Modern Ireland by Fintan O'Toole. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Aw, Index didn't make it. Oh well. Oh, neither did Magnificent Rebels. And neither did Sentient. Okay, so I predicted it.
I'm Glad My Mom Died, The Facemaker,
unsurprising,
and We Don't Know Ourselves.
Sad. RIP science book. I was excited for that one.
In Group C, the 6 octofinals.
I actually don't really have anything to say about this. Other than I know How to Stand Up to a Dictator did make it through. And I was kind of looking forward to Secret City because I like gay shit. If I were to guess, Bodywork by Melissa Boy's making it through. I'm not sure though. That one's a memoir, so I'm not really sure. I have so many good guesses on this one.
How to Stand Up to a Dictator, The Fight for Our Future by Maria Ressa. Free, A Child and a Country at the End of History by Leah Ipi. Secret City, The Hidden History of Gay Washington by James Kirchick. My Fourth Time We Drowned, Seeking Refuge on the World's Deadliest Migration Route by Sally Hayden. Bodywork, The Radical Power of Personal Narrative by Melissa Febos. And Translating Myself and Others by Jhumpa Lahiri. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Oh, okay. That one makes sense. That didn't go on. Okay, Free. Ooh, interesting.
How to Stand Up to a Dictator.
Okay.
Secret City.
Wow, so I was wrong on that prediction. I'm glad Secret City made it through. And now I think about it, The Fourth Time We Drowned did seem like it would move far. Because stuff with refugees has made it pretty far in this prize before.
My Fourth Time We Drowned. In Group D, the 6 octofinalists were the story...
Okay, this one, I know that Paradise Falls made it through because I'm assigned that won this round. I don't really know. I've seen River of Gods places, and maybe Half American will make it through because it's about African Americans fighting in World War II at home and abroad.
Story of Russia by Orlando Figes. Paradise Falls, The True Story of an Environmental Catastrophe by Keith O'Brien. River of the Gods, Genius, Courage, and Betrayal in the Search for the Source of the Nile by Candace Millard. Lost and Found, a memoir by Catherine Schultz. Fatty Fatty Boom Boom, a memoir of food, fat, and family by
I like the
Rabia
alliteration
Chowdhury.
on that one.
And Half American, the epic story of African Americans fighting World War II at home and abroad by Matthew F. Delmont. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Okay, History Story of Russia didn't make it, nor did Lost and Found, and nor did Fatty Fatty Boom Boom. Wow, I nailed that one on the head as well.
And Half American.
Like I said, memoirs don't tend to make it that far, because memoirs can be pretty polarizing. I don't like all the
In
memoirs.
Group E, the 6 octofinalists were...
Okay.
Eating to Extinction, the world's rare...
I've heard good things about the Trayvon generation. I don't really know anything else about any of these other ones, except for Eating to Extinction, which is a science book, so maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
Rarest Foods and Why We Need to Save Them by Dan Saladino. Did You Hear Mammy Died? A memoir by Seamus O'Reilly. Super Infinite, The Transformations of John Donne by Catherine Rundell. Thin Places, A Natural History of Healing and Home by Carrie Nidokerte. And G-Man, J. Edgar Hoover and the Making of the American Century by Beverly Gage. The Trayvon Generation by Elizabeth Alexander. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Makes sense that Thin Places didn't make it through. I'm surprised about the Trayvon generation. And...
Eating to Extinction, Did You
Okay.
Hear Mammy Died? And G-Man.
So I'm glad Eating to Distinction made it through.
In Group F, the 6
Okay.
octofinalists.
So these ones for Group F, oh my god, F. I know An Immense World made it through because I'm assigned that one, which works perfectly because I have to read that for a reading project that I'm doing with the Goodreads Choice Awards that I do every year. I'm hoping Pandora's Jar makes it through because I have a copy of that all the way up there at my top shelf that I can't reach without having to get up.
Were Constructing a Nervous System, a memoir by Margot Jefferson. Breathless, The Scientific Race to Defeat a Deadly Virus by David Quammen. An Immense World, How Animal Senses Reveal the Hidden Realms Around Us by Ed Yong. Pandora's Jar, Women in the Greek Myths by Natalie Haynes. Under the Skin, The Hidden Toll of Racism on American Lives and on the Health of Our Nation by Linda Villarosa. And Desperate Remedies, Psychiatry's Turbulent Quest to Cure Mental Illness by Andrew Scull. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Okay, Not Constructing a Nervous System. Aw, Rick Desperate Remedies. Ah, Pandora's Jar didn't make it either.
An Immense World and Under the Skin.
Breathless and Under the Skin seem very hard-hitting and emotional, so I get why they made it through.
In Group G, the 6 octofinalists were In Love, A Memoir of Love and Loss by Amy Bloom.
Okay, so this group G, I know Dinners with Ruth made it through because I'm reading that one. And one that I've seen like the most in bookstores, it's between Solito and Stay True. But I don't really know much about this one. I think this one is very memoir heavy, and I don't really care about a biography about Buster Keaton. Sorry.
Manifesto on Never Giving Up by Bernardine Evaristo. Solito, a memoir by Javier Zamora. Stay True, a memoir by Hua Su. Dinners with Ruth, a memoir on the power of friendships by Nina Totenberg. And Buster Keaton, a filmmaker's life by James Curtis. The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Yay, Buster Keaton's not going next. Oh, okay. Rip Stay True. Okay, so In Love and Solito and Dinners with Ruth. I bet that Solito is really good, and I'm going to be really mad that I don't own a copy of it if I have to read it at some point. So that's just my prediction. Okay.
And finally, in Group H,
this is the last one.
The 6 octofinalists were Also a Poet, Frank O'Hara.
So we gotta list them. But his name is George Floyd is one that made it through. I think another one that will make it through will be The Last Imperial War. I want Read Dangerously to make it through because that one looks interesting to me, but I don't know. Let's see.
My Father and Me by Ada Calhoun. The Escape Artist, The Man Who Broke Out of Auschwitz to Warn the World by Jonathan Friedland. His Name is George Floyd, One Man's Life and the Struggle for Racial Justice by Robert Samuels and Toulouse Olorunipa. Read Dangerously, The Subversive Power of Literature in Troubled Times by Azar Nafisi. Blood and Ruins, The Last Imperial War, 1931 to 1945 by Richard Overy. And Keats, A Brief Life in 9 Poems and 1 Epitaph by Lucasta
That
Miller.
one sounds really boring. I'm sorry.
The 3 books moving into the quarterfinals are...
Not Keats. Not Read Dangerously. Okay.
The Escape Artist.
So we have Escape Artist. His name is George Floyd, and Blood and Ruins, which makes sense.
As George Floyd and Blood and Ruins. Moving on to fiction.
So
in Group A,
I don't really follow fiction, so I'm going to skip over. So we can look at that. So we can kind of see what books are up against each other. I'm kind of curious about that.
We'll start with nonfiction. In Group A, the 6 quarterfinalists are Secret City by James Kirchick, Eating to Extinction by Dan Saladino, Sandy Hook.
Some interesting things. Williamson. Glad I don't have that one.
Breathless by David Quammen. The Face
Just because that one has Harris, Sandy Hook.
And Solito by Javier Zamora. In Group B, the 6 quarterfinalists are Did You Hear Mammy Die?
Okay.
By Seamus
this will be
O'Reilly.
Interesting because there's a lot of heavy-hitting ones dealing with the race in this
Siddhartha
one.
Mukherjee.
I think this is
by
I think
Linda
this one will
Villarosa.
beat out Song of the Cell, and the Song of
I'm
the Cell is
Glad My
really,
Mom
really
Died
good.
by Jeanette McCurdy. Blood and Ruins by Richard Overy. And Half American by Matthew F. Delmont. In Group C, the 6 quarterfinalists are River of the Gods by Candace Millard.
Okay. I feel
In
like there's a
Love
good
by
mix
Amy
of
Bloom.
nonfiction in this one.
G-Man by Beverly Gage. My Fourth Time We Drowned by Sally Hayden. Strangers to Ourselves by Rachel Aviv. And The Escape Artist by Jonathan Friedland. And in Group D, the
This
6
one is
quarterfinalists
mine.
are Dinners with Ruth
I can't
by Nina
comment.
Totenberg. An Immense World by Ed Yong. His Name is George Floyd by Robert Samuels and Toulouse Olorunapa.
Although I will say, I don't
We
think
Don't Know
I will have
Ourselves
to
by
buy
Fintan O'Toole. Paradise
any
Falls
audiobooks
by Keith
because I can
O'Brien.
get them from libraries. So that's
And
good.
How to Stand Up to a Dictator by Maria Ressa.
So there we go. That is groupings and the results. I'm excited to enter this next round. I originally intended to vlog like the Octofinals. I don't think I will vlog the quarterfinals because that's just a lot. I can't make any large commitments like that. Maybe what I'll try to do is like film my thoughts once I finish a book. I'm not entirely sure though yet. So yeah, this going through the Octofinals rounds is a really interesting round to judge for, and to not judge for this time, because I feel like the Octofinal round is a lot of like thinning the herd. You pick off the weakest ones in the Octofinal round, and then once you get to like the quarterfinals and the semifinals and the finals, like that's kind of where stuff gets more intense. I can't decide if it's more intense in the quarterfinals or in the semifinals. I feel like going into the finals, it's less like the anticipation is who wins, not like you reading the books, because I like many times have gone into final rounds where I have read all of the books or most of the books. Maybe I need to read 1 or 2. So it's kind of like a low-key round. But like quarterfinals and semifinals are more of the like, okay, like gotta scramble to like read the books and like try different things. Maybe that's just me because I read, I sign up for all the rounds, barring that I'm not going and doing anything like super intense or anything over the summer. So yeah. So it'll be really, really fun to get back into this for the quarterfinals. I have my group. Excited to see how that pans out, and I will see you next week. Bye!